I'm standing outside a NASCAR hauler, and inside, veteran crew members have gone quiet. Nobody is talking about lap times. They're talking about a number on a stat sheet, and that number belongs to one driver, a driver who wasn't even supposed to be here. In 2023, a virtual unknown from Auckland, New Zealand, walked into the biggest stock car series on Earth and beat every single full-time Cup veteran on the grid, in his very first start. This is the story of how Shane Van Gisbergen, nicknamed SVG, turned NASCAR's oldest, most guarded economic system upside down, and why the sport still hasn't figured out what to do about it. Before we break this down, if you're new here, this is NASCAR Racing World, and we're closing in on 500 subscribers. If you want more real, fact-driven NASCAR breakdowns like this one, hit subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment. Your support is what actually keeps this channel growing and lets us keep digging into stories like this one. For decades, the economics of NASCAR's Cup Series have rewarded one thing above almost everything else: tenure. Sponsorship deals in this sport have traditionally run on multi-year cycles, built around a driver's name recognition and fan base rather than raw weekly results. The Cup Series' own playoff point system is structured to reward season-long consistency. A driver who finishes mid-pack race after race, without ever winning, can still bank enough points to make the postseason. That's not speculation, it's written into how the format is built. For years, fans have watched certain veteran drivers hold rides season after season, backed by sponsors who signed on for the long haul, regardless of whether that driver was finishing top 5 or 15th. It's a system that has protected experience and loyalty as much as it has rewarded outright speed. Under that system, a driver's seat security has often depended less on trophies and more on a sponsor's marketing calendar. A driver could go winless for an entire season and still keep a full-time ride the following year, because the value a team places on a driver isn't measured only in checkered flags, it's measured in sponsor renewals, fan merchandise sales, and TV time. That structure has worked for NASCAR for decades. It has also meant that breaking into the sport as an outsider, with no built-in fan base and no long-term sponsor relationship, has historically been one of the hardest paths to a full-time Cup Series ride. Then, in July 2023, that system got a shock it wasn't built to absorb. Shane Van Gisbergen arrived at the Chicago street course for the Cup Series Grant Park 220 as a road racing champion from Australia's Supercars Championship, where he had already won 3 championships and 80 races. Almost nobody in the American NASCAR audience knew his name. He was written off by casual fans as a one-off entry, a gimmick driver brought in by Trackhouse Racing's Project 91 program for a single weekend. Then the race happened. Van Gisbergen won it, becoming the first driver in NASCAR Cup Series history to win his debut start since Johnny Rutherford in 1963. It wasn't a fluke dismissed after one weekend, either. It became the first sign of something the sport hadn't accounted for. The receipts kept stacking after that. In 2025, Van Gisbergen moved to the Cup Series full-time with Trackhouse Racing, and by the end of the season he'd won 5 races, a NASCAR Cup Series rookie record. That included a win in June 2025 at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City, the very first Cup Series race ever held there. He also became the 2025 Sunoco Rookie of the Year. Through the middle of 2026, driving the number 97 Chevrolet, he added back-to-back victories at Watkins Glen International and a win at Sonoma Raceway, giving him 8 career Cup Series wins, every single one of them on a road or street course. That win total ties him with NASCAR legend Tony Stewart for second on the all-time road course win list, one behind Jeff Gordon's 9. The numbers alone would be enough to rattle a garage built on tenure. But it's what happened after the wins that turned this into a genuine argument inside the sport. After his 4th win of the 2025 season at Watkins Glen, a race his own father flew in to watch for the first time that year, Van Gisbergen didn't talk like a driver chasing a legacy. He talked like someone still adjusting to what was happening to him. "I'm just a very lucky guy to get to drive for an amazing bunch of people and just execute," he said after that win. The day went flawlessly. Following his back-to-back Watkins Glen victory in May 2026, he was even more direct about how close the margins actually felt from inside the car. "We weren't very good in practice, and then qualifying was amazing, and then today, what a race car," Van Gisbergen said. And then, crew chief, Steven Duran, made great calls. That's the human contradiction at the center of this story. A driver methodically dismantling one of NASCAR's oldest hierarchies, while sounding, in his own words, almost surprised it's happening to him. That contrast has extended into his personal life away from the track as well. Van Gisbergen has been open about the fact that the scale of what he's accomplished in NASCAR, a series he only fully committed to in his mid-30s, after already building an entire championship career on the other side of the world in supercars, doesn't always register for him in the moment. He's spoken about wins landing on him later, away from the noise of the podium and the media center, rather than in the immediate celebration most American fans expect from a driver who just dominated a Cup Series field. It's a detail that stands in sharp contrast to the gimmick label that followed him into the sport back in 2023, a label that assumed a one-off Chicago win would be the beginning and end of his Cup Series story, not the opening chapter of a run toward 8 wins in barely 3 seasons. His rookie teammate, Connor Zilisch, adds another layer to this story. Zilisch posted the fastest lap of the field at the 2026 Watkins Glen race, finishing 20th only after a late tire problem cost him a shot at his own top result. After that race, Zilisch didn't frame the day as a loss to Van Gisbergen so much as proof of how competitive Trackhouse Racing's road course program has become as a whole, just frustrating because we had a really good day going. At worst, we were going to get ourselves our first top 5 and walk out of here with something. But congrats to Shane, Trackhouse, and everybody who makes this happen. That single team now fields 2 of the sport's most talked about road course threats, which only adds more weight to the argument that this isn't a one-driver anomaly. It's a structural shift in who wins on these tracks. Now here's the argument the garage can't agree on, and it splits into 2 camps. Camp 1, the results camp. Their case is built entirely on outcomes. Van Gisbergen has outqualified and outraced drivers with a decade or more of Cup Series experience, doing it in a fraction of the starts most veterans needed to build their reputations. His 8 wins came inside just 62 career Cup Series races, a win rate most full-time veterans never approach across 10 times that many starts. Christopher Bell, after finishing second to Van Gisbergen at Watkins Glen in 2025, put it plainly, "I'm thrilled because we've been struggling a little bit. Just trying to execute the races has been tough for us, so really awesome to have a good day. Frustrated to get our butts kicked by Van Gisbergen. He's doing such a really good job." Team owner Justin Marks went further after that same Watkins Glen weekend in 2026, saying, "We have a race car driver that is at a level that I don't think this sport has ever seen before on these road courses." The sharpest edge of this camp's argument is the ongoing oval development storyline. Road courses make up a small fraction of the Cup Series calendar, most of the season is run on ovals, historically the weaker part of Van Gisbergen's game. If he continues closing that gap, the "he only wins on road courses" argument loses its last leg to stand on. Denny Hamlin, who has watched this play out from inside the garage all season, addressed exactly this on his own podcast, Actions Detrimental. After Van Gisbergen's Sonoma win in 2026, you could beat him, but you still got to put in the back of your mind that the Trackhouse cars still have not been great this year. So, he's probably not driving the fastest car, but he's driving it the fastest. Camp 2, the loyalty camp. Their argument isn't about disputing the results. It's about what a Cup Series championship, and a Cup Series career, are actually built to measure. This camp holds that NASCAR has always valued full-season consistency over isolated bursts of dominance. A driver who can finish inside the top 15 for 36 straight weekends, even without a single win, builds championship equity that a handful of spectacular road course victories can't replicate under the current points system. Fan connection, in this view, isn't built in one electric season, it's built over years of a driver showing up, race after race, on ovals most fans watch far more often than road courses. Even Hamlin, one of Van Gisbergen's loudest supporters on the results side of this debate, has conceded the sample size argument matters. Debating whether Van Gisbergen is NASCAR's best ever road course driver is controversial. The sample size is still quite small, given that Van Gisbergen is only in his 3rd full-time NASCAR Cup Series season. This tension isn't theoretical, it's playing out in real time on the current points table. Tyler Reddick entered the 2026 season's Watkins Glen weekend holding a 129-point lead over second-place Hamlin, a gap built almost entirely on oval course consistency rather than road course dominance. Meanwhile, Van Gisbergen's Trackhouse teammate, rookie Connor Zilisch, has emerged as a second disruptive force inside the same team, further complicating where loyalty, tenure, and results collide inside one garage. Fellow broadcaster and former champion Kevin Harvick summed up just how unresolved this argument still is, saying flatly on air, "The only way to keep up with SVG is to hire SVG to drive your car, because nobody else can make it go as fast as him." Hamlin has also pointed to something more specific than raw pace when explaining why the field hasn't closed the gap yet. Describing what he watched from a nearby starting position at Sonoma in 2026, Hamlin said, "When I watch him approach, 11 corners at Sonoma, there's a few where it's like, wow, I never thought to approach that corner that way. And so I think the field sees that, and eventually they close it." Does his really acute awareness of what he needs out of his car, his techniques and all that stuff, able to be replicated? That's likely a tougher discussion. That's not a dismissal, and it's not full surrender either. It's a veteran, in real time, trying to work out whether what he's watching is repeatable or singular. That uncertainty is exactly why this argument hasn't settled inside the garage. It's also worth noting how quickly the margins have already started shrinking. Van Gisbergen's win at Sonoma in June 2026 was his closest yet on a road course, just 0.357 seconds ahead of runner-up Chase Briscoe, the tightest margin of any of his 8 career victories. To the results camp, that's simply evidence he's still winning, full stop. To the loyalty camp, it's the first real data point suggesting the gap that once looked unbeatable is now something the rest of the field can realistically close. Back in that hauler, the room hasn't answered the question yet. Every road course Van Gisbergen wins tightens the case for the results camp. Every oval he struggles on keeps the loyalty camp's argument alive. And every 3 weeks, when the calendar turns back to a road or street course, that silence in the garage returns, because everyone in that room knows exactly what's coming, and nobody has found a way to stop it yet. So here's the real question for you: which camp are you actually in, the drivers who say results should decide everything, or the ones who say NASCAR was never built to be judged that way? Drop your answer in the comments and tell us which camp you're in. If you enjoy real NASCAR breakdowns like this, you'll like what's coming next, so make sure you're subscribed, and share this with another NASCAR fan who needs to see this argument for themselves.